The sick man of college football has survived long enough to play another season. Part of me wishes for this conference to collapse like the Ottoman Empire, if only to finally end its suffering. But alas, you're still here, somehow. Therefore, I have no choice but to talk about your asses once more. At least a few of your new additions are getting some attention. If nothing else, because college football fans think they're going to be better than anything Kent State produces this year. Let's pick through this shit and try to find a diamond somewhere.
Who in the blue hell are you?
Behold, it's Michigan Light. Seriously, the head coach of the Blue Hens back in the 1950s thought that the Michigan helmet design was so cool, he decided to straight up copy it. All I can say is don't ever play at Ohio State or Michigan for that matter, unless you want to confuse the hell out of the fan base for both teams. As for how you are looking this season, you just transferred up from FCS. You will be initiated into the fraternity by getting your asses kicked pillar to post. I would say that it is a good thing that most of your veteran players are back after last season, but that's also a pretty bad thing considering none of them were plucked out by the transfer portal. I don't know if head coach Ryan Carty can steer this life raft of a team through the hurricane of an FBS season, and it's extremely likely they will sink and get annihilated by any team worth a shit. But hey, at least you're here, right? Honestly, the only good thing this team has done in the last decade was get Pitbull to sponsor their damn stadium. Outside of that, you have 4 winning seasons in 21 years of existence and no real hope of doing anything good this year. Your new head coach in Willie Simmons is picking up the pieces of a team that did score more points than it gave up, yet only won 4 games. So the first thing you should try to shore up here would be the defense, right? Well, considering all your best tacklers are gone, it's not a great situation. The transfers in Aaron Armitage from Stanford, Dante Anderson from Florida State, and Keegan Davis from Florida are nice, but you are seriously lacking in overall size. Sadly, this is the best part of your team as your offense is putrid. Top wideouts Dean Patterson and Eric Rivers left for Georgia Tech to buy milk and never came home. The Panthers will need to rely on their 2 feet of depth to save them. Expect at best 4 wins again this year if you're lucky. If you were hoping for good old Rich Rod to hang around and build a Gamecock dynasty a la College Football 26, boy, were you naive. Despite you guys being arguably the most successful team to transition from FCS to FBS, next to James Madison, of course, the old expression holds true. Money talks and bullshit walks. And Rich Rod taking his ass back to the country roads of West Virginia should surprise no one. This also means it's time for the Cocks to come crashing back to reality. You are staring down the barrel of a rebuild season under your first-year head coach, Charles Kelly. Remember how Delaware is mostly the same team from last year? Yeah, Jacksonville State was completely destroyed by the portal. Anyone worth a fuck is gone. There's no consensus who's starting at quarterback, only 1 offensive lineman returned, and wide receiver Cam Vaughn hitched a ride on the wagon with Rich Rod. With your offense being dismantled and the defense now realizing their offense can't score 40 points a game anymore to save their ass, it's going to be a long season in Jacksonville. Brian Bohannon being the head coach wasn't the reason you dipshits lost 10 games last year. It was because you didn't have enough talent to pull off the same shit that JMU and Jacksonville State could. I know in FCS you guys were used to being the winning squad and dominating everybody, but newsflash, you bumped up the fucking difficulty. Jerry Mack is sadly the poor son of a bitch in charge of putting out the fire in this orphanage. Now that you are really seeing what's before you at this level, it's clear what the main objective is for the Owls this year. Survive.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
While most teams in Conference USA are simply holding on for dear life, Liberty continues to have winning seasons every year. Going 13-0 in 2023 with a Fiesta Bowl appearance is still very fresh on their minds. And there's no doubt they will be in the conference title game this year. The main question is, will the offense improve their shitty passing game from last year? Seemingly the answer is yes, as Ethan Vasco comes in from Coastal Carolina to add a sorely needed boost in accuracy. This is a deadly combo with their excellent wide receiver core in Elijah Canyon, Reese Smith, and Tyson Mobley. Knowing this and running off the continued success the Flames have had, there's no way to avoid it. It's either a conference title for the Flames or holy hell on the program for blowing it. Sonny Cumbie is college football's dead man walking. Almost every outlet I've read has pegged him to be fired after this season if he even makes it to the end. The offense is once again going to be god-fucking-awful. Evan Bullock is fine as a quarterback, but if you ask him to throw it more than 15 yards downfield, he'll hit the popcorn guy 10 rows up in the stands. The only thing worth a fuck here is the defense, which is one of the best in the conference, especially in the secondary behind Cedric Woods and Jacob Fields. That should be enough to maybe, and I do mean maybe, win 6 games. In the real world, it'll be closer to 4 and sunny as fire before November. The Raiders went from a middle-of-the-pack team that should make bowl games each season to complete shit in Derek Mason's first year as coach. The rebuild was brutal, but mandatory in getting back on track. If there's any improvement this year, it starts with Coach Mason's wheelhouse, the defense. It was by far one of the worst in the nation last year, and it can only go up from here. Most of the defensive line is still intact and now have more experience under them. Getting some much-needed secondary help via the portal will also get the Raiders back on the right track. I would normally give some compliments to the offense as quarterback Nicholas Vattiato is back for his 5th year. But despite 3,000 passing yards in his last 2 seasons, he has a very, very bad habit of throwing the ball to the wrong fucking team. If he can throw a few less interceptions and a few more touchdowns, a bowl game is back in sight for Middle Tennessee. The other new kid on the block this season is Missouri State. The Bears are not a power coming in from FCS. They were actually kind of mid, to be honest. But the offense has the potential to be sneaky good this season. Being 3rd in the nation in FCS last season on offense and having Jacob Clark back after throwing 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions should make defensive coordinators sweat bullets. The receiving core was reinforced with Isaiah McMorris transferring from Nebraska to complement returning wide receivers Jamari A. Robinson and James Blackstring. The defense took a few hits in the secondary from the portal, but overall should be able to hold their own throughout the Conference USA schedule. They're going to be a tough team to put down this season, so long as everybody stays healthy. Seth McGowan was likely going to be the best running back in Conference USA until he told the Aggies to go touch bluegrass and ran off to Kentucky in the spring portal. This pretty much forces New Mexico to give up the run-heavy attack they had last year and to balance it out with passing. Logan Fife is who the Aggies will lean on to do anything, really. With an all-new offensive line, it might take a few weeks to gel together. The defensive line ain't much better after it got picked apart by the portal. But with a strong linebacker group and some decent corners, the defense won't be the worst. Just definitely not good enough to compete for the conference. I'd roll over and sleep off this season if I was a fan of this team. The former FCS powerhouse is looking to build off their 10-3 showing last year with new head coach Phil Longo, who was just fired from Wisconsin after completely shitting the bed as offensive coordinator. To be fair, the Badgers were injured to hell last year, but this is a reach on a new head coach, especially after their offensive production got torn apart by the portal. You might as well be starting from scratch at this point. Quarterback Hunter Watson and Wisconsin transfer Mabry Mature will be competing for the starting job and could be rotating to start the season. Not that there's anything special in the weapons at wide receiver. The defense is in full rebuild mode, with the only optimism being shown at the secondary behind a slew of transferred. Everywhere else, let's see here, winning 1 season since 2015, 3-9 last year with a bunch of transfers coming in to maybe get you to a fucking bowl game. This is still UTEP though. I've learned from all my years of watching college football that the name of the school doesn't stand for University of Texas El Paso. It actually means utter trash every possession. We know what they are and what they will be once again. Fuck this team. Enjoy your final season here before getting wrecked in the Mountain West.
What the was that?
Tops. Listen, guys, you did very well last year. You continue to win games and make bowls, but that loss against Jack State was fucking brutal to watch. I don't know what happened to your offense and defense towards the end of the season, but if you want to make it back to win the conference title, you better find some goddamn consistency. This rolling over and dying shit ain't gonna fly down the stretch. You have enough talent back and good enough transfers to get it done. So get it fucking done! While I enjoy some good mid-major college football, this conference overall is the drizzling shits. Only 2 teams stand out to me that have a chance of winning it, and it's not even close. I'll guess that Liberty wins the title against Western Kentucky. Now back to irrelevancy you go. I'll see you fuckers in December. Thank you very much for watching the video. This is a part of a multiple video collaboration with 2 good friends of mine, A Logical Canadian and Red River Duckwin. We are all going to be tackling 3 videos each, going over all the conferences and teams in FBS college football, because that's just way too much fucking work for myself. It began with the upload date of this video, August 1st, 2025. and it will continue Saturday and Sunday this weekend with the Logical and Duck getting their own videos out. After that, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the weekend after that, we will have our next videos out each week going over every single conference and team in college football. So check out their channels at the link below. Make sure you subscribe to all of us. Click the notification bell to make sure you're alerted of the next uploads, and get ready for the college football season. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe today. Become a member of the Red Army.